Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be going over why side quests are worth it in Wizard101. Now, I've made a video like this in the past. I've actually made this exact video in the past. But that was when my channel had like 300 subs and not a lot of people have seen it. Whereas now, I'm making this because I saw a lot of people on my last video, and by a lot of people I mean at least a few comments, saying, why do side quests? They're not worth it. My last video, if you didn't see it, was tips for newer players, right? And I said to do side quests because side quests are pretty good. But a lot of people said, no, side quests are not good. Now, here's why you're absolutely wrong. So, the main argument that I am seeing is that the later worlds give a lot of XP, so you are going to be over-leveled anyway. That is true. I'm not denying that. But how they're arguing it is that Chrysalis gives too much XP. Polaris gives too much XP, which they're right, they do, and it overlevels you. But when I want to put into perspective, right, Chrysalis is the 10th world, right? And if you count side worlds, it's like the 12th or 13th world. Polaris is like the 14th world, right? There's a total of 17 worlds in this game, which means you are completely saying, you're saying that for the first 3 quarters, you shouldn't do side quests because you're going to be over leveled anyway for the last little bit of the game. And my brain is just like, does not compute. What do you mean? Because the beginning of the game is significantly better if you do side quests. So let me explain to you what exactly I mean and how exactly it's beneficial to you. So if you've watched my balanced Let's Play series, you know I did side quests. I did them frequently. I didn't do them on camera. I did them off camera in between episodes, and I did them a lot. I did a lot of them. Now, the reason why I did that is because I was soloing. I wanted to be able to finish the game, and I wanted it to be a decent time, at least in the beginning, right? So every single side quest opportunity that came up, I did because I wanted to be over leveled, right? Which is how I ended up being level 16 by the time I entered Crocotopia, because I did Colossus Boulevard and Triton Underwater, and then I also did all the side quests, and then in Crocotopia I ended up being 25 plus exiting it, which if you didn't know, usually if you do no side quests you're level 21. And I kept that trend going. By the time I was, I think in Dragonspire, I was 5 to 10 levels above what I should have been, while everyone else would have been like 38. Usually I was like 43 or above. And I think when I finished Dragonspire, I ended up being level 48 to 50, somewhere in there, right? Which is decently high. That's a good level to exit Dragonspire as, considering if you did no side quests you'd be level 44. Now, what I want to mainly talk about is how that's beneficial to you. Now, I want to say the hardest worlds, in my opinion, are Winter Tusk, Celestia, Zafaria, and Avalon. Now, the reason why those are the hardest worlds, I put hardest in quotation marks, by the way, because obviously Azteca and Chrysalis are a bit more difficult. What I'm saying is it's difficult for damage to enemy ratio kind of thing, if that makes sense. So in Azteca, for example, you become level 90, and you get the Blade of Fell Titan Alpha and Omega Ring, and your damage increases to about 100, right? That's a decent amount of damage. But in Celestia through Avalon, your damage is like 80, right? 70, which is significantly worse. So there's that, plus the fact that your health is lower as well. Which is why, in my opinion, it's good to do side quests to get over that curve, especially if you're soloing. If you're soloing, side quests are so useful. So, for example, I entered Celestia at around level 58, I believe. If you don't do side quests, or say I didn't do Grizzleheim Winter Tusk, I would have entered at level 44. Celestia at level 44 is painful. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but I've done it before, and it is not okay, right? You don't get to level 60 until the Science Center, and generally it's just an extremely painful experience. Like, all the bosses have a monstrous amount of health compared to you, at least if you don't have Waterworks gear, right? And if you don't have Winter Tusk crafted, that's also important to note. And it's just really, really painful, especially because you can't even really get enchants either. Because you can't get enchants until the later levels, until you're at least level 50, which just makes it that much harder. But if you do it my way, and you're level 60 when you enter, if you're level 58 to 60 when you enter, you're going to be entering with 80 damage, right? With full Waterworks gear. You're going to have almost 100% power pip, most likely 70 to 100. You're going to have critical, all of these things, which will suddenly make the world significantly easier. So that's my take on it, at least from my experience. Whether I convinced you or not, I don't know, but what I'm saying is at least I would at least try it once. You don't need to do every side quest. That's important to note. You don't need to do every side quest. Do the ones that give XP and that matter. For example, in Marleybone, one of the first side quests you get from the mayor of Barkingham, of Regent Square, Mayor Pimsbury, one of the first quests he gives you is he's feeling a bit sick. It's called Under the Weather, I believe. And that quest, the first step gives 250, the next one gives 500, and the final one gives 1500. So that's a total of 2.5k XP, which in Marleybone is insane. That's like double to triple the amount that you get for most quests, which is why it's worth it to do that one, especially because it's only walking, right? It might be a bit of walking, but it's better than not doing it at all, in my opinion, right? And then in Mushu, there's all of these quests that give 2,000 plus XP that aren't even that difficult. Honestly, Mushu side quests are the best side quests to do because they all give so much XP and genuinely aren't that difficult, which is why I end up leaving Mushu at level 40 sometimes, right? Which is pretty crazy. That's like, usually you wouldn't be 40 until Dragonspire, right? So that's really my take on it. That's all I have to say. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Again, I just think that it's really, really useful to do side quests. People might disagree with me. People are going to disagree with me. I know that, ooh, that's a cool panda mount. Look at that. Ooh, what's that panda? It has like black, the great panda. That's really cool. But I just feel like definitely people disagree, and a lot of people think the side quests aren't worth it. But I'm here to tell you that you should at least do some of them, right? And that's the premise of this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you disagree, let me know as well. And if I helped you, if you are a low level and you haven't done side quests and you decided to start doing them now, let me know as well, because I'm excited to see how you find it. I've always found that it makes all of the worlds easier, but Dragonspire through Zafaria especially are significantly easier when you're over leveled, which is always good. So again, that's it. See you in the next video. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, whatever. Have a fantastic day.